Hey guys, so today's video is going to be my pros and cons of living in California. For those of you who do not know, I was born and grew up in Kansas, and I just moved to California in January of 2014 to complete an internship for my college degree. I know a lot of you weren't here when I was actually moving, and I did moving vlogs and all that good stuff. But now I have been here over 6 months, and I wanted to tell you guys kind of my thoughts on the pros and cons of living in California. Oh, and stay tuned because I'm going to have a little bit of a life update at the end. The number one pro of living in California is automatically, no doubt, the climate here. It affects a lot of things. It means really good weather most of the time. It's really warm and awesome. It hardly ever rains. We're actually in a drought right now, which I know is not a good thing. But just in general, there has been like hardly any bad weather, and it has been very nice all the time. That also affects the trees and vegetation that you get when you are driving around California. I have personally been living in Sacramento, which has the most trees out of like anywhere ever. It's got trees everywhere. And that's something that you don't always see when you're living in a city. So it's really cool, and I have very, very much enjoyed the climate and all of the vegetation and wonderful beauty that the climate produces. The second pro about living in California is the food, namely the seafood and cultural food. And I don't know any other better way to put it, but California is very, very culturally diverse, especially compared to Kansas. There are a lot of different people living here from a lot of different places, and I absolutely love that. I think it's really cool, and nowhere can you see that better than with the food. Basically, there's just a million restaurants, and you kind of have to know which ones are the good ones and which ones are the bad ones. But if you can figure out where the good ones are, you'll get some of the best food you've ever had. I have really especially enjoyed some of the Mexican food that I've had here, and also, like I keep saying, the seafood being by the coast as opposed to being by Kansas is incomparable. It's awesome here. The third pro about living in California is their innovation, as I like to call it. They're really into sustainability and the environment, and I really like that. They have a lot of good programs in place for that kind of stuff. For example, you can go recycle things and get a little bit of money back, and they really promote recycling here. They're also innovative in a lot of other ways, probably just because there's more people here doing more things. I know I've seen lots of just things that I haven't seen before while I'm here. There's a lot of auto walkways places, and I've seen cart elevators in stores. I know these are just little things, but the innovation is a sign of growth as a society, and I think that it's really cool to see innovation happening. They're also really innovative in their social programming. I know I'm a music therapist, and in some place like Kansas, that's a little bit less recognized than it is in some place like California. And I'm talking about an evidence-based profession here that some people just don't really acknowledge yet. My fourth and final pro about living in California is your proximity to cool things. I don't know any other way to say it, but California is a really big state, and there's just a lot going on here. You've got the ocean, you've got mountains, you've got desert, you've got everything, and you can pretty much drive an hour in any direction and just go see something really cool. And that's really neat coming from Kansas, where we have mostly a lot of flat. It's allowed for a lot of really great travel experiences where I've gotten to go and see a lot of just amazing things and do a lot of really cool things that I wouldn't have had the opportunity to do in Kansas. Okay, so now that I've talked a little bit about my pros of living in California, I want to go ahead and mention a few of the cons of living in California, which I feel are not as frequently mentioned, but probably should be addressed equally. The first con of living in California is without a doubt the money that it costs to live here. It is ridiculously expensive, and I don't even live in Southern California. Immediately after moving out here, I could see things like groceries would cost $50 to $100 more here than they cost me in Kansas. Gas is $4 a gallon or more, which is a lot more than I was used to paying. Rent is more, utilities are more, everything's more expensive. I know a lot of people talk about how the cost of living here is made up for by the minimum wage and the amount of money that you make when you work here. But for me, I was in an unpaid internship, and it didn't really help me at all. It was a very expensive and financially difficult time in my life. I mean, you guys will probably notice I have not posted a haul in the last 6 months. My second con of living in California, and please don't let this come out the wrong way, is all the people. And I just mean that there's an extremely dense population here. And so that means the traffic is horrible. And again, I don't live in LA, like I live in Sacramento, and the traffic is still horrible. It takes you forever to get any place. When you want to go out to eat, it's really hard to get a seat. Basically just anything that you do, you're gonna have to fight through like a crowd of people to do it. Even just standing in line at the grocery store, for me, it's just so many more people than I'm used to. My third con of living in California, and again, I really don't want this to come off the wrong way, but it's that people are more aggressive here. And that's not everyone. I definitely don't want to make a generalization. I've met some absolutely wonderful people since I came here. But I will say that in general, there is a slightly more negative or aggressive edge to the people that you meet here, especially initially. It's not that people are mean at all. It's more like people aren't expecting you to be nice, if that makes any sense. People, when you first meet them, immediately assume the worst, it seems, and it's led to some awkward or uncomfortable situations when Kendall and I were just trying to figure things out or make friends. It made things a lot more difficult. That's another situation where when you're dealing with all the people or when you're driving in traffic, the more aggressive nature can be a little alarming, and I definitely had to get used to the way that people interact with you when I'm here. Again, I have met a lot of really nice people here, and I am not in any way trying to make a generalization about all of the people in California. If anything, I think that the sheer amount of people here have made it so that people have to be more on guard when they're living here. My fourth and final con of living in California is more of a personal con. This is not something that would apply to everyone, but it is my distance from family and friends. I moved out here with my boyfriend Kendall, and we didn't really know anyone else. He has an aunt and uncle that live out here, about an hour and a half to 2 hours away from us. So that's the only people that we knew. I would say I found a lot of solace in YouTube and being able to talk to you guys. It's been a great social support for me in this time. But I also just think that when you have really close friends and when you're close to your family, it's hard to be 3 days away from them. And there's a 2-hour time difference, so communicating and planning ways to communicate can also be difficult. Again, it's just been an adjustment, and I definitely miss hanging out with my friends and family on a more regular basis. So that's it for my pros and cons of living in California. I hope you guys found this video interesting or maybe informative. I don't know. It's definitely in no way just California. I could do a pros and cons of living in Kansas like that. And if you guys have any other pros and cons of living in California or in your specific state or country, I would really love to hear what you guys think some of the pros and cons of different places are. I find that absolutely fascinating. So leave a comment down below and let me know the pros and cons of where you're at right now. All of this being said, I'm going to end this video with a little bit of a life update. I completed my 6-month music therapy internship yesterday, which means that I am done with college now, yay! So I should be graduating technically from the University of Kansas now, and that's very, very exciting for me. I'm really excited to be done with college. With that big change came the big decision for Kendall and I of deciding if we were going to try and find jobs in California or if we were going to be moving again somewhere else for a job or just back to Kansas. It was a really thought about decision, and that's kind of what led to me doing this pros and cons video. There are a lot of pros to living in California, but when it came down to it, Kendall and I decided that we really miss our friends and our family, and we really want to move back to Kansas. The place that you live only affects so much, and what it really comes down to is your attitude and your social support and the people that you are with. If you are a really outgoing person and you make friends easily, then maybe moving cross-country would be a really easy thing for you. But moving cross-country wasn't really an easy thing for Kendall or I, as we are both kind of introverts and we had a lot of trouble making friends. We even did a lot of meetups. I don't know if you guys have heard of meetup.com, where there's like events that you can go do with people that are similar to you. We did a lot of those events when we were trying to make friends when we moved out here. I was having a really hard time connecting with people and a hard time finding people that I felt were similar to me. And what I realized is that when it comes down to it, it's not about the state that you're in. It may sound silly that it's taken me such a journey to learn this. I don't at all regret moving to California. It's been an amazing experience. I've gotten to do so many amazing things. My internship was so great, and I guess I am just excited for the next chapter. Kendall and I will be moving back to Kansas in August, and we have already signed a lease on an apartment. We're really excited about being close to our friends and family again, and just to get to see what comes next. Since I'm now done with my internship and we are not moving until August, we are getting ready to go on a really big vacation journey adventure around California to visit lots of different things and see everything that there is to see while we're out here. And I am really excited about it. If you guys have any suggestions of things that we have to see or do while we're in California, please leave a comment down below and let me know. We don't want to miss out on anything. California has been an amazing place to be. This is more of a candid life update video, and I'm just interested in talking to you guys about it. So yeah, I think that's gonna be all for this video. Leave a comment down below. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will absolutely talk to you guys later. Love you. Bye.